Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco dish out on the movies.
Movies.
Today we're doing another
movie
season of American Horror Story, which just started up last week after being gone for several months. It's called Indelicate or Delicate, and the episode is episode 7, and it's called Ave Hestia. And you wonder what the heck is that, and you find out pretty quickly it's the name of a restaurant.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like X-Files, where they just name it some random pretentious name and you don't even figure it out the whole episode. And
They're just a little bit more purposeful.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. So, this episode had nothing to do with Emma. Well, it did, but it didn't.
Thankfully.
She wasn't in it at all.
Thankfully.
And,
neither was Kim Kardashian.
Actually, she might have been, but according to the pictures that they show with the, the promo, which I didn't watch. I forgot to watch the promo for the next week, or if I did, it was like really brief, and I just forgot about it. Because last week I thought it was really boring. But they showed her, Kim, in the witch outfit, the one with the wings on the head and all the black on the face and the big gown, and so, but it's kind of dark, and then they show all of these women, they have that outfit on, same outfit. It's a little hard to see their faces. And actually,
I see. Well, the promo for next episode, I don't even think you want to watch it, because right there in the picture they show Kim and Emma kissing each other. So, yeah, I'm not even gonna watch that promo, because that just makes me want to throw up. So, anyways, this episode, I would say that it was a little bit better than all the episodes so far this season, but that's literally only just because stuff happened.
Yeah, something happens.
There were characters that you understood who they were. There weren't just these random women who just kind of stare at you and they pop up in and out of the show. Like, no.
Yeah.
There's characters, stuff happens, and for that, I give the episode a C-, because that's the least I can give it without giving it like a bad grade. But still, it is an improvement.
I gave it a B just because they actually showed something happening. It wasn't just boring, and it wasn't just Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And her antics, and Emma, who is probably pretty good at what she does, acting. But this thing isn't. I don't think this role serves her well.
Well, the show is just so much better without either of them. Like, honestly, the actress who plays Dexter's first wife. Why did you say that? Like, I was saying first wife. Like, why did you feel the need to say first wife?
I don't know. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, you couldn't believe it. I don't know. She looks like Michelle Williams now.
Yeah, she does.
But you don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Who is she?
She's an actress from Canada. I think she has a twin sister.
Wow. Well, anyways, the actress who plays her, she's the best one, and like, honestly, if she was the center of the whole show, it probably would have been better in the first place. So, I mean, she also kind of looks more like the traditional, like, Rosemary's Baby character with that short hair. I think that's deliberate as well. I wonder if it's like that in the book. We wouldn't know because Safi won't read it.
I'm going to go resume it because I'm going to just to see if they talk about all this other stuff that we saw. They go back in time twice in this movie. Well, the whole movie in this show, the whole thing was the first wife. But, I mean, they go way back in time. Like, the first one is 42 A.D., Western Europe. And the second time is Galway, Ireland, 1243. So that's really going way back. So I thought it was I thought it was better. The episode was the best one we've seen because there just hasn't been much going on. It's been like, I don't know, mediocre drama queen, Kim Kardashian pretending like she can act, and I just don't think it's been very enjoyable. But this one, things happened that were bizarre and violent and mean and hateful and witchy and I don't know what else, evil. And also it was interesting to see what the first wife looked like and what she did and, you know, how everybody went on. I mean, everybody, to Kim anyway, has said, or Kim, to Emma, have said how wonderful she was. And everybody loved her and she was fantastic.
Well, it gave me Apocalypse vibes because her character... her job was that she was like the head chef at this, or the creator of this vegan feminist restaurant, and it reminded me of how in American Horror Story Apocalypse, that one biatch, or the main two biatches, they had the vegan restaurant together. So, did you think about that, Safi?
No.
No, I was too busy thinking about Kim Kardashian.
No.
Is that right? Is that what
No,
you're thinking
I thought
about?
It reminded me of, you know, we watch these cooking shows and, you know, she leaves her house. We don't know, this is before her apartment with decks or whatever, house, whatever it is, condo. And we find she goes into this place and then she puts her chef's coat on. And then we see right at the beginning, Ave Hestia is plastered on the front of this place in the city.
Safi, that is the stupidest plot explanation you've ever done in this entire channel.
So what she's a chef.
That was so stupid. You're like, well, we see she puts on a chef coat and then she walks into this place and we see the sign that says Ave Hestia. And it's like, who just the fuck was that for? Like, we just said she was a chef at a restaurant, and then you're like, well, we see her, she gets in a chef's coat, and then she walks into this building, and then we see the sign.
Okay, well,
I mean, you really think the audience is that retarded that they didn't see that in the episode? Like, you're like, I have to explain every single little detail. I can't just, like, say she's at a restaurant called Ave Hestia.
Well, I watched this in the middle of the night because I knew I was going to have to watch two shows and do two reviews.
Is that in your notes too? Like, do you have it in the notes?
No,
like,
no.
Let me see it. I want to see it.
Okay.
Like, I want to see. Like, did you write down? We have this woman, and she puts on a chef's jacket, and she walks into a building with a sign on it.
Well, I didn't know she was a chef. I don't remember them talking about it. I don't remember them talking about how she had a restaurant. I didn't know what she did, as a matter of fact. All we ever hear about, or all we've ever been hearing about, is how Dex is an artist and has a studio.
No, I don't see any. In fact, there's basically no notes for the episode.
No, because I watched it in the middle of the night.
Did you write down a mental note?
I did look up the dates or the years that they went back in time.
I saw this
which
woman.
I don't really understand how that it is linked up with the today.
There was this woman. She put on a chef's jacket.
just
She
gonna
walked
keep
into
going
a
on?
building.
This is the third time
And we
we've
saw
talked
the
about
sign, and it said restaurant, so I knew it was a restaurant. Safi, that's pretty bad.
Okay, I won't say anything for the rest of the review. So you can
Just
go
do
ahead and give it. Go ahead
it.
and just move on.
Just do-
Let's move on. I have things to do.
Come on, Safi. What else happened?
So apparently, she's a witch too, because she's got after everybody leaves, she goes and she moves the stuff around in the kitchen, and she has a secret little room, and it's not really little; it's a pretty big room. And she goes in there and she puts herself in the middle of a pentagram and lights candles. And I don't know, she's doing a spell of protection for herself. She starts doing this chant and this spell because after she lights the candles, and I don't know if that's what she's supposed to be protecting herself from whatever. And then we find out she is alienated from all those other women.
Is she protecting her restaurant or her baby, maybe?
It could be protecting her restaurant, too. Because let's say if they burned her alive in the restaurant, they would be burning the restaurant down, too. The whole thing. And so she does this, and so then you know right away she was one of the witches. But they've been going on about how she's such a wonderful person, and they missed her. She was so great for Dex, and they had the most loving relationship. I mean, all these people have been saying this crap the whole time about how great she is. Well, we find out in the rest of the episode she's on the outs with all the witches. She doesn't want to be any part of
Well,
them.
we find out that when you're a witch in this universe, because this is obviously not the American Horror Story universe. But when you're in this witch coven or a part of this whole network of witches, apparently they have like their biggest pet peeve is people contradicting them, and so there's several scenes where people just like talk openly with them, and then the witches are like, "Don't contradict me!" Yeah.
Well, that was another thing too. We heard all about from Dex's mother how evil the father was. He wanted to get rid of her, and he's hateful and mean. We never saw him until I think the last episode. And he's a jerk. And he does something. And I don't know, now, when this happens, I guess he put chloroform on a cloth, and he put it on the wife's face. But before that happened, he said, "Don't contradict me." You know what she said? She said, "He's our only son," or "He's our only child." And so that contradicted him. That's a contradiction. That's a truth. So I didn't get why that was a problem for her to say that.
Well, then he did some kind of weird ritual that the son actually walks in on, where like he's having sex with one of the witches, and at the same time the mom is sitting there and she's getting like a syringe in her or something. It makes no sense, but
yeah, that part was weird.
We are confirmed to know that the son doesn't know what's going on because they erased his memory. Well, the dad said to erase his memory after he saw that, so he does not know what's going on.
Right. No, he is not in on any of it. I don't know what he thinks. Like I say, he's pretty much a piece of cardboard in this show.
He did not improve in this episode either. Like,
not very much. Just tiny bit.
Yeah.
Very tiny.
He acts like, I don't know, like he there's just something about him where he's like not really himself or something, like this actor. Like it's like he's trying to be someone different because it's American Horror Story or something, and so he's trying too hard. Maybe.
Or they put a spell on him. They did put a spell on him to forget. So maybe they just put a spell on him to act like this. I don't know. It just blows my mind, frankly. Because it's not like him at all. You see him in any other thing, he's very into the part, and he's acting and believable. And in this part, I mean, a little bit different in this episode, but not totally. He's just cardboard. I'm sorry, but that's what it reminds me of. So what had happened is he went looking for her because you know what? She tested herself to see if she was pregnant. She did the stick thing, and she threw it in the trash. Well, he found it in the trash, and so he tried to call her, and she wouldn't answer. He knew she was at the restaurant. So he goes there, and so she can hear that he came in, or she could hear noise. So she stopped her she did another little chanting spell thing in the pentagram, and she stopped that, and she comes out. Well, but when he comes in, all those witches are there. The father's there doing that thing with the sex, and he's wearing all like a black like a dominant. What is it? Like dominatrix, but what is the men? I don't know what they're called, but he's got like leather and studs. He's wearing that, and the mother's there, and it's bizarre. I mean, just a whole what all happens, but they're all meanies. These women, and one of them, she is the one that's co-owner with Dex on the art gallery. And she, just like an hour before, they're having dinner with the wife, the owner of the restaurant, and they're like best friends. And she said she bought this art gallery for Dex. She's going to manage it because she got all this money from a stock buy out, and so that was like an hour or so before it, and they're like best friends. Well, all this time she's been betraying her to these witches. It's because she's a witch too.
Okay, I think that's enough explaining. So,
I know,
anyways,
it's just a whole group
the
of
episode
women,
ends
meanies.
with the witches. Oh yeah, and the witches. They have some kind of bizarre explanation at the end because another person that the Rosemary Jr. knew betrayed her and became a witch, and all the witches are confronting her, and they're gonna kill her. And the one who betrayed her said something stupid about, like, I don't know, she said, like, we live in a world where women aren't allowed to create anything. We just have to be right or something. I don't know. It made no sense at all. But, like, that was her justification for becoming an evil witch, is because men bad. The world made us bad because men. So, yeah. And then they kill her, and the episode ends.
Yeah, they stabbed her.
And they set her on fire.
Yeah.
I would say this episode, it's like a typical, like, origin episode where, like, you advance the story so far, and then you just have a random episode where it's the explanation of the backstory. And in terms of, like, all the backstory episodes I've ever seen, this isn't one of the greatest ones, but I would still say, like, it was a lot better than Chucky, this episode. So, you know,
The thing is they were mad at her because she wanted to get away from them. Why did she want to get away from them? And why did they want her back so bad? Now, that's not really explained to me. And why do we see these two scenes where they go back in time? And I just said one is 42 AD, Western Europe. That's the first one where the woman slices herself open and pulls out a baby, and then she pulls out another one. And then the next one is Galway, Ireland, 1243. And you have all these women dressed in black, not like what they are today, but just a different version. And they're all mean and hateful to each other. And they're supposedly witches. So I don't understand how this all connects. Because that's a pretty far way back into the past.
I guess it's still a question. I mean, it's just, I really don't care. Like, even though this episode was better, at this point, there's only 2 episodes left. There's nothing that they could do to make the show redeem itself, especially since, you know, as much as we like that Kim Kardashian wasn't in this episode,
Yeah.
she'll definitely be in the next 2. So we have that to look forward to. And to see her kissing Emma Roberts for some reason, like, as if that's, like, what we came to the show for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really unbelievable. So, I mean, and you gotta wonder, and they're probably never gonna show this. They're probably never gonna talk about it. But, I mean, did they just leave her burned body there? And the room, the hidden room with all the lit candles and everything?
No, Safi, they probably made it look like she had a car accident or something.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you would know if you read the book.
I'm going to do that because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to have to see, and then I can report back by the last episode.
You can
what
report
happened.
back.
What happened in the book? Because Marco talked about this last week. How this is not go along the lines of a usual American Horror Story.
No, none of this feels like American Horror Story.
Yeah,
It feels like it's something else.
Because really, it isn't. Because it's based on this book, which has nothing to do with American Horror Story.
Yeah, and I think it's a sign of really laziness or poor quality that, like, we can't come up with an original story. We have to use a book. Because, like, that's never been what American Horror Story has been about. Like, they've had homages to movies. Like, they already homaged Rosemary's Baby and Apocalypse. They've had, like, tributes to horror movies, and but this just feels like a different thing where it's like, oh no, we have to take it a step further, and we have to adapt an entire book into a season of the show for some reason. And I think it was a big failure of an experiment. And honestly, even though I hate Apocalypse, and I hate the New York one, and I hate the double feature, and I hate a lot of these terrible seasons of the show, I would much rather have those over this, because at least with those, they were original stories that the writers came up with themselves.
Yeah. And, like the part of the book I've read up to whatever, it's been boring. And that's what all these other episodes up to this one have been really boring. And I'm still thinking, despite all this, what does this have to do with Emma? She is not even a witch. And, and we didn't know either that this other wife was, but she was. And she wanted to get away. And they didn't want her to get away. It's like she wasn't allowed to get away. And how does the father-in-law figure into it? I mean, there's just these questions. And so I'm going to have to look at the book and see.
I told Safi to do this.
I should have read it all this time. I should have just bit the bullet.
I told her every single month when I was making the schedules, because I have to make out the schedules myself, because she doesn't really like to participate.
No, I have other things, and Marco's in charge, and I contribute, but he's basically in charge. I have.
That doesn't matter, but anyways, like every time I told Safi, every single month, because I have to schedule it out. So if I knew that she was going to read the book, then I would put book review in one of the days of the month. But every single month she's like, "No, I don't really want to. It's boring. I don't want to watch Truman Capote either because he's boring too."
No, I didn't say that at all. Never said that.
Really?
So the book is boring.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the truth. But the thing about Truman Capote, that is not true at all. Anything he's saying about me and how I feel about Truman Capote is a lie. Okay?
You probably don't even know what In Cold Blood is.
Oh my God, I lived in Kansas City. People talked about that.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Even though I was a kid.
I asked Safi to review In Cold Blood and she wouldn't do it.
No, I don't want to read. I've read the books a couple of times. I've seen the movie about 3 times. I don't want to.
She said the movie was too scary for her.
No, the movie is not too scary for me.
Just like this show. This show's really scary how bad it is. And how, like, I don't know if American Horror Story will even come back after this season, like, or if it does, like, are they going to adapt another book? Like, you know what would be interesting to see is maybe, like, them adapting Goosebumps. Not.
No, Marco.
Because they couldn't do that, because that'd be way too hard for them. Why? Why, Safi?
Marco, there's no way that could ever happen. That's a
Why not?
children's show.
That doesn't matter.
Books, and they don't do that.
What else are they going to do?
I don't know.
Like,
but anyway,
I guess they don't have any ideas because they have to
this
borrow from a book.
I thought this episode, at least, I think the part where they've all ganged up on her, and that woman draws out a big blade and she's going to stab her. I think that was scary.
Yeah.
And the husband is just like, you know, but he's out of it. But they made him that way. They spelled him. So now you so you gotta wonder. That's another thing I'm wondering. I've already mentioned it. Is he like stiff and cardboard like because he's been spelled, or is he like this because he doesn't know how he should be in this role? Because I've seen him in other things, and he's completely different, and like a real actor. And this one, he's like cardboard. I've said this multiple times, so that's a big question for me because he's dangling. We saw all this backstory, right? He's dangling into the Emma part now for next week. So, and you gotta wonder, does he love her? I mean, he doesn't really act like he really did care about this woman. That's what I say. He did show a little bit of acting.
Well, I mean, Safi, honestly, he went from that woman to Emma Roberts. Like, that was a big step down. Because, like, Emma Roberts' character, she's kind of like a nitwit, and she's kind of a weak sauce.
Cat, yeah.
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 And the other girl was a lot more intelligent. She was a lot more,
she's stronger.
She was good at cooking. Emma Roberts doesn't know how to cook anything, so that's a big downgrade. Because, like, just think about all the food that she made from a restaurant that she'd let him try and stuff like that. And, like, oh, not anymore. Now she's got to eat. Now he's got to eat, like, Emma Roberts' crab cakes. Yeah, Emma Roberts' mac and cheese, which is just like Stouffer's mac and cheese with a little parsnip on top. Right? I mean, what do you think? Like, because that's another thing, too. Like, they could have emphasized that, too.
Yeah.
Because they emphasized that in Apocalypse, where they showed the two women eating at the restaurant, and they showed, like, them trying the different dishes and things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that is interesting because, well, it's different with every project, but since they took this, they adapted this from a book, how much input do the writers of the show have in what comes from the book?
They have all the input.
Are they allowed to?
Yes, Safi.
Yes,
Safi.
A lot or a little?
Yes, Safi. They can do whatever they want. They purchase the rights to the book to make it into a show. They can do whatever they want.
Well, maybe they thought the story was so bad they didn't know what to do with it.
But I don't know. No, I think they thought it was good, and I think they thought, like, ooh, instead of making a real story, we can just make this into a show. And this will be even better than, like, what we did last year, because it's already based on a really good book. But I don't know. I mean, we don't know. Like, we haven't seen any, like, interviews or anything, so...
So that part where the husband gets mad and says, "Don't contradict me," to his wife, who the last thing she said before he put that thing on her face was that he's our only child. And he says, "Don't contradict me. I told you not to contradict me." He comes over and does that. That was then. That's not now. Because, see, I was wondering, because remember, the last episode with Emma, he had killed her, I guess. Or she was dead in the bathtub, or did she commit suicide? I guess maybe she committed suicide, but she was dead.
Safi, he killed her. That was implied.
Okay, that's what I thought. And so I don't get what happened with them for the last episode. What they were doing with the mother, how she was a part of it. I know what you saw, but what does that mean? That's why I wondered how much the writers got to change what was in.
They can do whatever they want, Safi.
They can do whatever they want.
I've already said that.
I don't know. What they did was bizarre, at least for that part. But I still, even though there's problems with this season, I still like this episode better than all the rest. Just because more went on, I thought the actress who played the wife, there was a lot more depth to her, and I thought she was a more interesting character, and it explained a few things, especially about him. Well, at least it comes into question as to why he is the way he is, and the parts where they went back in time, I didn't get what that was supposed to be. Unless it was just to show that this cult of witches has been around for a long time. That's it. I don't know what else to say. What you have anything else to say about it?
No.
Okay, so my review is I'll give it a B because I liked the actress who did the other wife. I just like the story, even though it's kind of loose and not totally explained. And there was a lot more action, even though it was bizarre. And it was kind of like a wake-up episode. Because the other ones are just kind of like, God, am I going to be able to get through this? It's so boring. And I can't stand Kim Kardashian. She's such a dip. And in this one, you didn't have that to think about. It was a lot more interesting. So, and you gave it a what? A D?
C minus.
C minus. So you can tell that we thought better of it than the other episodes. Because I don't think we've been giving the other episodes anything near to that kind of grade.
I did it first, but then I was like, then I realized nothing was going to happen the whole season, so I was like, actually, I'll give all of them an F.
So you got to wonder now, it's the same thing with Chucky. What are they going to do? So Emma is going to give birth to a devil child. What's going to happen to the devil child? Are they going to is somebody going to kill the devil child? Is the devil child going to be changed into a shape-shifting, changed into a regular human that people think is a regular human, but it's really the devil? But how can they do that? Because we already saw who the son of Satan is in a previous season. So, and it had nothing to do with these people.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that yet. Is that a big issue of why this season doesn't fit in with the continuity of American Horror Story is because we already have Michael from Apocalypse. He's alive at this point in the timeline. And so there wouldn't be any other devil baby. There wouldn't be any other Antichrist baby. So if this baby is supposed to be like a devil baby, it doesn't make any sense at all. Period.
In other words, that really brings up the point as to why are we supposed to be having multiple? I mean, they've had these witches. They've been around since 42 A.D. Okay, so and maybe before that. So what's been the purpose of that? To have multiple devil babies? So what, are these the devil's disciples and not the son of Satan? And what are these babies? Because they've been around and they've been around hanging around people's babies.
What have they done?
Forever. Well, yeah, what have they done? What's the deal? So and so with this thing about Michael from Apocalypse, well, he's the devil's son. So what are all these babies? Disciples?
More Kardashians?
Spread out amongst the population?
Is that where Kardashian came from? Came from the devil?
Yeah, right. So,
That would be a good thing. Like at the end it reveals that this has all been like an origin story of the Kardashian show. And that like all these devil babies were the Kardashian family. That'd be good. then again, I really don't care.
No, I don't either. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. Tomorrow we're going to be watching Fallout and reviewing that. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.